was taken last year, they're saying that like nationalism as a whole is just like blowing up throughout the world, like, and you can just see it like event after event, like even like obviously with Brexit is kind of where it started, and it kind of seems so far out there. Like when you first hear it, like you first hear like, you know, some of these like, you know, these policies, and you're just like, you're kind of taken back. I mean, some people are, but like, and then you realize how much support there is for it, right? And it all stems down to, I guess, these people that you know, are just like kind of overlooked, or they think they're overlooked by government and stuff like that, and they just tend to, you know, I feel like government as a whole, you know, they tend to pertain to issues that only kind of affect either just not the either just like the super well off or the super poverty stricken, and you have this gap
for the middle class,
and this middle class, lower, like I want to say lower middle class, and you know, I feel like that's one of the biggest demographics in most countries, right? That's where you're going to see a lot of people that are, you know, are not overly happy with the situation, right? And so these crazy ideas, like, you know, I honestly, I couldn't tell you why it's happening, but like, it's interesting for me to just see how widespread it is. Like you think, all right, you see Trump and you see how that kind of thing came to be.
One thing I could say about Trump though, for me, is like, I was never really into politics.
Yeah.
Like I barely follow Canadian politics, and then since Trump, like, I followed all of the American, like the whole
it's
whole
hard
campaign,
not to though,
and it made me research like the last ones for like comparing, like then I started looking into like more of Canadian politics. Like if it wasn't for Trump, I probably wouldn't be.
That's good.
He definitely, like, as a positive, even though like he's silly, like I knew him as a celebrity star.
That's
so,
the thing, and it makes it seem that this is all just like a reality show, and it just seems so superficial in a way. It's kind of disheartening. I don't like it. I just don't like it for that main reason. Like, you see, like,
but it is good for the fact that it makes people like our generation start to realize that, like, vote, like, more, like,
there's more
noticing
awareness.
that more awareness that if we don't vote, that things can happen. Like,
fucked up shit.
It's like, you guys hear, like, Kevin O'Leary is now running for Conservatives.
Yeah, no, he's on the ticket now. I heard that. And I mean, I guess he's like, in a sense, our Trump, because he's like a Canadian billionaire that's kind of running like on our right wing, our right wing party, but like, you know, at the same time, I have to say I don't see him as the same level of rhetoric.
The thing is,
I see him as a little bit more formal, a little bit more.
I think we are pushing back to right though after Trudeau.
Oh, for sure.
Just because like Harper was running a surplus for like most of his term. I think it was not a huge surplus. Like I think it was like 3-point-something billion.
Like he was balancing it, but like I don't know.
And then this defect, and like like our defect right now is like 13-something billion dollars that we're running a defect.
Yeah, I mean, he was planning on a $10 billion deficit, and then in the very first year it worked out to 20, if not 30 billion. So like his numbers just didn't end up matching up at all with what he was promising, and it's like he's had like scandal after scandal in like the last few months. It was like over the.
Or his campaign was also against that big pipeline they want to put in.
Yeah, and then he fucking went back.
Now he's just like now he's like
it's
a great No, like where I'm from, like they're like caring like that was like a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I back, because that's one of the main reasons a lot of people voted for him, just because of that pipeline. And you know what I see is like especially in terms of office, I see it flipping back and forth almost every 2 terms, because you see, like, you go back, like, at least in American politics, you go to Bill Clinton, you know, Democrat, then George Bush, you know, Republican, then 8 years, Barack Obama, all of them 8 years, all of them switch right back. Barack Obama, Democrat, Trump, Republican. Even in Canada, you can see the same thing though. Like we had Trudeau, liberal, or, you know, Democratic if you're. And then before that we had Harper, and then
Harper was for like 12 years.
He ran 3 terms.
Yeah, he ran 8 or 9. 8 or 9 years.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 terms.
It 100% was 3, but I know for sure one of them only lasted 2 years, because his first 2 terms were minority terms. So they were like, I want to say like 2 years, then maybe 3 years, and then the last one was the full 4 years. Because in his first 2 terms, 100%. I know that he failed a few votes of confidence. like one of them, he asked the governor general to call an early election because that was his second term.
9
because
years.
He almost knew,
9
9
years.
years.
like he knew that in his second term that by calling
True,
an
yeah,
election,
2 years, that makes
when
sense.
he did, it was going to boost him into a majority, and then the first time he failed a vote of confidence in the House.
True.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, it's 9 years he was in office.
Yeah.
271 days. That's long.
Sixth longest.
Wasn't a big fan of Steve Harper either, to be honest, but
Yeah. I mean,
he was good for
was alright.
he was good for the economy. I think he
What I
was
liked
good
about
for the
him was
economy.
that I want to say he was like very low key. He was quiet. Like even though he was a conservative, and when he first got elected, I want to say it was like what, like 2006, 2007. So even in Canada, a lot of the like social issues were still like kind of not seen as such a big deal. But whenever his like MPs would like try to pass a bill like against abortion, against like gay marriage, against whatever, he'd always like he would tell them to just basically like sit down and like shut up, because he knew that for like the long run that doesn't make sense. So like I feel like he focused on kind of like important things, and he wasn't the typical like conservative kind of like just, you know, I don't say like douche, but like you know where I'm going with that.
He was in like he was in office when Bush was in office. So
Yeah.
like they kind of like that, like he was all for Iraq as well, which was kind of, like there's a lot of people against that shit that were like completely like.
Well, they say that our
Obvious.
conservative government, when we have one in place, they tend to follow the Americans a lot more than the liberals.
Yeah.
I hear that's like a
Well, like right now,
correlation. Yeah,
the fact that they have a Republican and we have a liberal.
yeah, which is
Justin Trudeau,
yeah.
just basically said that okay, we get what you're gonna do, but we're not gonna like follow pretty much.
Yeah,
Like, especially with the Syrian
Exactly.
refugee ordeal.
that's the one thing that I
But-
can respect about Trudeau. I feel like he'll hold his own ground, at least with I don't know, because a lot of the
Too much
time.
of a drama teacher to me, man.
Yeah, he's a teacher too. Yeah.
Well, like, he was a drama
I know.
teacher before he became a politician. It's just
I don't know.
I saw this
I
video
mean,
of his once.
I
There's
like
some
him. I
fucking
like him.
smart
I,
teachers
he's,
out there,
yeah,
though,
no.
like,
I'm not ripping on teachers by any means.
No, I know.
Not
That's what I
teachers
mean.
at all.
Like I mean, yeah, he's not like a fucking like a science professor or whatever. But like, I mean, you can.
I think
still,
that's who we need to run our country.
Man, that's what I
Science.
mean. Elon Musk, bro. He
Elon-
needs to run
What
the
I liked about
country.
Trudeau was he made a new cabinet position called I want to say the Minister of like Science and Technology,
Yeah,
and he
I
put
respect
Canada's
that.
first astronaut in space. I want to say it's like Mark
Fuck.
Garneau.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
the
that
name
makes
is Mark
sense.
Garneau, and
Yeah.
he's like in charge of that. And ever
That's-
since he's
oh,
been doing
okay.
like a lot of good shit
No, I
for
can
the
back.
Canadian kind of tech sector. So I really like that move. Like I'm not Trudeau's biggest fan, but I like really
Yeah.
appreciated him when I saw him do that.
Yeah, I
By any
mean,
means, I'm more liberal than conservative, but
yeah.
there's definitely like I don't know. I'm a centralist for sure. Like I agree with some stuff on the right, and I would say more on the left, but I'm definitely in the middle, a little bit on the left.
Yeah.
But
We need people like Elon Musk to run A, the country, B, the world. I
Yeah,
honestly,
I
I honestly
agree.
feel like there's just some people that are just like just intrinsically way smarter than the rest
Elon
of us.
Musk, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. But like
Um,
Elon has like, all right, so Neil is just like stupid smart in one. I want to say
I wouldn't say one. I wouldn't characterize him in one subject.
It's like he's very smart in theoretical kind of science, but
Not even theoretical.
Elon
No,
has
it's
to, like,
scientific. Like just
But like I've even watched him. He's not like he says he's more like of an educator than a leader.
yeah,
kind of
he's
thing.
definitely
like,
an educator.
I
I would
feel
want him
like
as a
he'd be
consultant.
like an advisor position.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
an advisor
he'd be on my
position.
cabinet. Absolutely,
Yeah.
but like I'm saying that like people like Elon Musk that like are just they don't care. They're billionaires that don't care to lose money. We need those. We need those people that like are not just like super driven to the profit motive. That they will actually, because you make money at the same time, like by it's almost like they're taking like very risky projects, and like, you know, and we obviously
what's
learned that.
like talk about the Mars project that he wants.
The Mars project. Personally I know a lot about like what he's done in the past, and what he's doing with like Hyperloop, the Gigafactory. Like obviously he's part of Tesla, Solar City, but like the Hyperloop thing is like
What is the Hyperloop?
the Hyperloop project. So the way that it works, all right. So like just to put a mental picture in your head is like think of like Futurama, like the opening theme song, like how they have like people shooting through those tubes.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So what it is it's a tube where they suck all the air out. It's a vacuum. And then what they do is they almost have trains inside, like train carts, but they are driven with magnetic power. So what it essentially is trying to do is like reduce all the resistance there is by actually like levitating. They use magnetic levitation for these carts, so you'll have two magnets, one on the cart, one on the rails. So these things are actually floating, and then they take all the resistance that oxygen has by sucking all the air out of these tubes, and then they can shoot these things. They're almost like rail guns. They can shoot them fucking so fast. Apparently, when they first were talking about it, they said you can get from like Toronto to Montreal and I think it was like 15 minutes or something stupid like that. You can it was something
It's like New York to LA in like 2 hours or something. Like unreal.
So it's actually
this is a new way of transportation.
Yes,
basically.
and so what they're aiming to do is a couple different objectives. They're either trying to, and I don't know everything about it, but I'm pretty sure that they're either trying to use it for like mass transportation in the States, like instead of 18-wheelers, get a lot of those off the road, and because that would do a lot for the pollution and all that bullshit. So instead they would just like grab the crate that you put on the back of an 18-wheeler, send it in one of these tubes, ship it down to east to west coast, and then you're laughing.
Well, like the only thing is like actually trying to like how I guess that's
implement
it. Implement.
So what they're doing now is they actually have created a city in Nevada because there's fucking nothing there.
I've heard of this.
And then so he's actually like making his test facility is actually something where they're going to try to develop a city around, so they can actually like if this test facility works out, which they've proven to.
Okay.
They've had some very successful tests, but they're actually trying to like use this test facility in a practical manner for when it does, because he's super optimistic of the project, which he should be. Like he's crazy.
Guy's a fucking genius.
Man, not only that, any kind of project that like these super scientists and like these students have, he has like a program where he'll fund it, he'll subsidize it if it like passes, I don't know, some kind of his tests or his standards. If he thinks it has some merit, he thinks it'll go somewhere, he doesn't even care if it will make him money. He will spend the money on it. And that's the thing, he's really driven to actually advance some kind of aspect of the human, the way
help us advance.
He sees it as we have the technology, we just don't, like, if we're sitting around waiting for the public sector to fucking fund it, we're going to be waiting a long time. It's going to be so
the
slow.
private sector is definitely where everything.
That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing with SpaceX too. He's trying to have like a private competition with aerospace engineering and
well, think about it. When was the last time we went to the moon? It was like
73.
Yeah,
I think.
And like that's almost kind of what he's doing now against NASA. Is NASA wanted to put a vehicle, not even a human, but they wanted to send an empty spacecraft that was like the exact same spacecraft that you could put people inside for future missions, but they just wanted to do kind of a practice like safety run in 2019. And then it was just like 1 or 2 weeks ago, Elon came out and he said, well, SpaceX, we're going to be doing it in 2018 with a person. So he's completely just one-upping NASA every step of the way at this point. And like, I honestly think that's really good, because there's that other company by what's his name, Jeff Bezos, the guy who founded Amazon. I don't know.
Blue Planet or Blue something.
Blue Sky. Blue Origin. Yeah. Which is now the second kind of private space firm. So like we're right at like the very beginning of private space travel, which I honestly think is pretty big.
Was it like 23 million a seat? Something wild like that.
If it's a one-way trip, like
no, it's not.
So wait, so
this one is.
I wasn't paying attention. This isn't the Mars. This isn't.
This is like. You're talking Mars.
Yeah, for SpaceX, what they want to do in 2018 is send someone to Mars. I don't think they actually want to land them, but they want to put them around
I thought that was
the
around
planet.
the moon.
I want to say it's Mars for sure.
What's it called?
Or is it the moon? It's either Mars or the moon. It might be
SpaceX.
They're trying to send someone around the moon.
And then come back, see if we can make it that far with the.
No, they're doing it with like just people. Like they're already putting tickets up to grabs. Like it's like I want to say it's like a tourist kind of thing.
Okay,
it's
that's
like
cool.
Something for like.
It's something like as if like people have a lot of money can pay for seats to travel into space for a short period of time.
I'm
just
sure
for the
like
experience.
A week or a month tops.
For what they're doing is using that money to then subsidize their own costs, basically.
But yeah, fucking, he's doing some other cool shit too. I just saw the other day, me and Rob were talking. So Australia has like a big problem with their power grid. They have a lot of blackouts and shit like that. And a billionaire from Australia, forget the name, it's on CNN Money, I looked it up. That's where I found it if you want to Google it or whatever. But so essentially he bet him, like it was almost like this Twitter war where he's like, hey, like, I don't know if they had some conversation beforehand, but Elon was saying that, this billionaire from Australia was like, yeah, like, if you think you can fix it, like, you know, let me know kind of thing. And Elon's, yeah, he's like, I could fix it, no problem. And then this guy's like, you know, how serious are you about this? And he responds, he's like, all right, give me 100 days after I sign the contract and Tesla will implement it and it'll be good to go. And if I don't succeed within those 100 days, I'll do it for free. And he's like, how's that for serious? And like, just like, and that's the thing. It's like this private competition, but it's actually going to help people out in like Australia that are having issues. And it's like Tesla is this like super advanced in terms of their like R&D of their batteries. That's what, you know, that's why they're just, you know, they have these SUVs that are faster than like fucking supercars now because like they run on instantaneous power, and the batteries that they've been developing, they're able to produce it at a low cost. They're able to mass produce it. And it's just, they just keep putting money into R&D. That's why, like, I'm pretty sure that's why Tesla's stock isn't really, like, you know, that's not, it used to be, like, amazing, but, like,
Tesla actually, it was last year, I was doing, like, that stock competition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember.
I bought some, and I, like, that's when I sold, I went up to, like, 5th place, sold everything. I didn't play at all, and I came 6th by.
I want to say that they've come back to that price level because the overall market has been doing super good.
Yeah.
But I think they're back to like 240, 260.
Yeah.
Like
For
sure.
That's the thing. Like I did a portfolio management project on it, and there were some months where they were going up 84% in a month.
Oh yeah.
And like but I'm saying like their products aren't super profitable. That's what Tesla's having issues with. But that's the thing. They just the reason they're not profitable is because I feel like it's the amount they put back into the company, and
that and it's like they're a lot more complex. Like their technology and everything would be more like they're definitely putting more like it'd be more the cost. Their costs in general too would be way more than like a gas powered vehicle by any means.
Yeah, well, I just think the technology is like it's almost there, and they're at the cusp, and they're putting so much more money into it. And
R&D is a consistent cash flow.
Exactly, and that's what they know that, and they know, and I know it'll pay off. I feel like they'd be like a great long-term investment, but I'm just saying that, you know, like typically they've been kind of stagnating in terms of their growth, and I feel like that's because they just came out with the Tesla X, the Tesla 3, which is their SUV and their economic vehicle. And that's the thing, people are wondering, they're like, yo, like, your $90,000 car wasn't super profitable, how are you going to make money off this $30,000 car? And the reason is, it's because they put so much money into their R&D that they were actually able to reduce the cost of these batteries. Like, I watched some shit on how they actually developed these, those $30,000 Tesla 3s. I don't know if you've seen them. It's like the Civics of Teslas. So, like, you know how they have the Teslas that you've seen around? They're like these big, luxurious, you know, electric power cars with huge like iPads like in the middle, but like now they're making like almost like a really small one, size of a Civic, and it's like $30,000, so that a lot of people can start to buy them. And like
I think they started selling them.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think I've seen
this
some
is a
of
while
them
ago.
here.
Oh, especially in
Amsterdam. Like
I haven't seen a Tesla 3 out here actually, to be honest.
Really?
I think
I just seen the Tesla S's.
I've started to see like all the cabs are for the most part X's.
Yeah.
S's or X to the like flagship model. The S, right?
Yeah.
But whenever I see just kind of like a local maybe driving one around or someone without any embroidery on the car,
I guess
I've started to see more of the 3s.
Oh, nice.
I've
seen a couple of the
from
SUVs.
you explaining what the 3s look like, I think I've seen a few.
They're just a smaller version of them. They actually look.
I thought they were pretty nice.
Yeah, they are. They look gorgeous. Like, that's what I mean. For a third of the price, and that's what you get. And apparently in the States, there's like $13,000 worth of government rebates and subsidies that you get.
The problem with the States is the States has some like problem where they won't let Tesla set up dealerships and sell the cars directly to Americans. Like New Jersey just had this big problem within the last 1 or 2 years where they banned Tesla from selling cars directly to consumers, and they wanted them to use dealerships because like the thing in the States is they always want to add these like middlemen everywhere so that
Yeah.
they can make extra money, which I just think is one of the dumbest things
It
they
just
can do.
raises the
It's
cost of
stymieing,
the car.
it's stymieing
it's
growth
so
for
slimy.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, it's slimy too.
yeah. The development is just getting slowed down and delayed now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Anyway, Elon's like fucking definitely my president.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, if I was gonna pick one.
I saw Trump said he's gonna like he came in to consult with Trump, so I was pretty happy to see that because you need more minds like that in
It was like I think
positions
it
of
was
power.
first week he had all the tech CEOs and like big names
Yeah.
come in for his meeting at like the Trump Hotel or whatever it was.
No
that
doubt,
first
no
week
doubt.
of his
Of course, it was at the
he
fucking
was like
hotel.
elected or whatever. Yeah.
Why would it be at the White House?
So they for funding for like NASA is from of the budget only 18 billion,
Mhm,
and
it's
the
funding.
national budget for the military is
Oh my God.
496
Yeah.
billion.
Yeah, man. That's what they're
That's
saying.
ridiculous.
They said
And
like
Trump
I think
just raised it. He
Yeah,
just raised it.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse was talking about it, and he was saying that they're like he's like how many like what percentage of a dollar do you think goes to NASA? It's like 0.10 half of a cent of each of your dollars goes to NASA. And he's like, how much do you? It's like almost like I think it's like just over 50 cents a dollar goes to your
military.
goes to military. It's like something stupid like that, and it's just like if I feel like if America, I saw this Michael Moore documentary, and what they did is like one of these European countries, but what they do with your taxes, they actually like break down.
And they send you in the mail, I think.
Yeah,
a
so they
notice of what they spend it
So
on.
so it's like a percentage of each dollar where your dollars are going. I feel like even in Canada, the United States, if we were actually shown where exactly our money was going, we'd be so much more informed, and we'd actually have like be like, all right, you know what, 60 cents a dollar on fucking military, and what do I actually get to see of that? Like I feel like a lot of people would have a different stance on it rather than this.
You're saying there is a place that does this?
Yeah,
I know for sure, like the
in-
UK. I know 100%.
I was
yeah.
okay.
It's in the UK.
Like it probably happens. I want to say in a lot of countries in Europe, but I know,
Yeah.
like,
I was
personally
gonna
only
say
seen
it was
it
a
for the UK.
Scandinavian country.
I was thinking like Germany because their economy is like the strongest economy in the EU.
I could
by,
see
like,
it.
No, it's just about transparency, man. Like you don't get a lot of that as we go forward. I feel like
No,
I feel
for
like
sure.
transparency is a fucking huge issue, and I you just feel left in the dark, and it's just such a
Yeah, they
such
don't.
a
They
garbage
definitely
feeling.
keep you in the dark for the
You
most
know,
part.
some things that you just know aren't right, and you're just like, oh, I wish I knew more. And you know, you
Well,
only-
like
you
even
only
like
have-
news in general, like they're definitely not telling you the whole story. Like
yeah, like
you're
I mean,
not getting like anything.
See, I feel
You're
I
getting
feel
bits
with
and
news.
pieces.
I feel like news. It's just it's turned into a business where it's like the faster you come out with something,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the better it is. So like the thing is where
the sources aren't as good as they used to be.
no, they're shit because they have to come out with like 20 stories a day. You're not going to be able to properly research, properly like
And my other issue is that they'll bring up a story, make it seem like it's this huge deal that everyone has to pay attention to, and then drop it off the radar over the next 2 days,
yeah.
and you never hear about it
because
again.
another story's out.
Exactly, but like I still feel like they should need to kind of like devote
No,
time
man.
to saying what happened with
Yeah.
that old story, because otherwise, if you're just flashing stuff
Yeah.
left, right, and center, that's just like
That's another topic. Is there's way too much data to be
Mhm.
consumed now by like. There's
Oh,
no
I
way you
totally
can
agree.
learn about everything that's going on
No,
and
I
be
know.
connected with everything that's going
Because
on.
it takes time, man. And like you have all these like headline readers
Yeah.
that just read headlines and then they're fucking experts, you know. And
Like,
it's
that's the thing,
what pisses me off.
I've had to slow down now, and I'll be on my like RSS feed because I noticed that
I
I'll be
do
reading,
too, yeah, I do
I'll be
too.
reading the headline, and I don't even process what it's saying. I'm
Not
just-
even the whole headline, yeah.
I just see it
sometimes
and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally understand that, and I'll go to the next
Yeah.
one. That over the last I want to say 2 weeks, I've actually been forcing myself to click
Yeah.
each article and make sure that I'm reading it, because it's just the news has turned into this like new animal that it wasn't before. And it's
Yeah.
just
So,
definitely
I
unfortunate.
think
There is- yeah, there's
I think I
way-
showed you this. It was a video with what's his name? Not Morgan. Denzel. It was with
Oh,
Denzel. And he, I guess, like, some reporter came up to him and was like, hey, like, there's a fake story about you, how do you feel about that? And he's just like, he kind of went off on the media. He's like, hey, like, there's just certain, it's the frequency. So he was essentially just trying to say that, like, if you practice something, then you're going to get really good at it. And, like, you guys are practicing coming out with, like, multiple stories a day. And the faster you come out with something, the shittier your credentials get. And it gets to the point where, like a lot of these stories are very hard to back up. And like it's deviated from back in the day where, I don't know, have you seen the movie Spotlight?
I haven't.
It's about the Boston Globe where they uncover the big pedophile ring of the Catholic Church.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, really good movie actually. It's Oscar.
It came out in like the last year or something like that.
I want to say 2 years.
Yeah,
it's really good. Oscar
definitely rings a bell.
nominated,
Well,
fucking
no
amazing.
spoiler alerts.
No, I mean it's happened in history. It's a fictional story, so like you already know the ending. But anyways, so they had essentially what I'm trying to say is they had a newsroom where they had like a specific group of reporters that would spend they said months to years on different articles because they would gather all this data and they would do different stories, go to get different interviews, and they would have these super well documented stories, and they would produce like huge waves in the media because of like the amount of impact that these stories created. And like we don't see those anymore. Those don't happen anymore, and that's why the news industry in general,
Fake news is becoming definitely a trending topic.
Absolutely, because like I even did this like kind of case study last year on the news, and like it was all about like back I want to say like 2000 2005 or even before that when newsrooms had to start switching over to the online. And people just get laid off. So many local newspapers, and that's what I think is a huge problem right now. So many local newspapers just get, they file bankruptcy or they just get bought out, and they just become like a different part of CNN and NSBC or whatever. And those are the guys that you really find out different stories, and you really get an insight of what's happening in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. And like they actually have some super well documented stories because they're just, it's homegrown, it's small,
it's more
they have
time
people
invested.
allocated to it, and that's what I mean. There's a more personal level too.
Yeah.
Like you can like if you live in like a small town, like you can actually go ask around people. You have like these different like personal relationships that you can utilize. Whereas now it's just like. It's more big picture and it's more bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
it's you never hear anything
especially
on
in
small
Canada. What's
scale.
happening is like before, for example, in Ottawa, right? We had like the Citizen and the Sun, and they were both completely independent of like any other of like independent of like any other like news kind of like association. And what happened was this company called like Post Media came in and they bought the Citizen, and then within the last year, the Citizen bought the Sun. So what happens is now in Canada, you have this one big like news media company called Post Media who is controlling the news streams to entire cities. And like you said, it's more big picture because they're not actually, all the reporters are in Toronto, Montreal, and they're covering stories all the way out in the West Coast, in the Maritimes, in the smaller central cities. So they have no real idea what's going on, and then yet they're the ones doing the reporting. And that same thing's definitely happening in the States. I want to say it's not such a big problem like over in Europe, but in North America, I want to say we're on a real slippery slope with our journalism in North America.
Yeah, man, journalism.
Like it's really slippery.
Man, and that's the thing. Like you get because like the actual like real journalists like are hard to come by now because there's no real point. Like it's just who can get this story out first. And that's the thing. There's this competition between, let's say, 5 different news companies who are all trying to get it out first. That's where you start losing source credibility.
Yeah, they're taking basically whatever comes to them first.
Yeah, and they're just trying to write up a quick story about it. Boom, send it out. And like they don't care. They would rather apologize later than actually check beforehand. Exactly. So they'll be like, oh, correction. I got one the other day. Like I got like 3 messages from fucking CNN just saying, this is what happened. Oh, and then another one, correction. Sorry.
Well, I remember like when we had that terrorist attack at Parliament, like 2 years ago. I remember watching that live, and like I heard the gunshots and everything live, and they were telling like everyone like there's 3 suspects, 2 are on the roam, 1 shot down.
In the defense, they said they don't know. They think there may be up to 3. Like they didn't say for sure that it was.
I was like even downtown.
At one point they were under like maybe I'm pretty sure like they quoted like saying there's for sure like 1's gotten away. So like me and my friends are like up on the roof trying to look around. Like,
Yeah, man.
as soon as there's like cop chases.
I remember I was like right downtown and a group of like cops was walking by, like myself and a bunch of like other like kind of people who were in the area, and they were like, "You guys need to get out of the area. There's at least 6 shooters on the roof." And like everyone, of course, like scrambled away. By the time I got home, the news, I remember, you're right, they said for sure that there was 2. But I do want to say, like, in most cases of like shootings, like whenever there's a school shooting in the States, for the first few hours, they're always like, oh, police and witnesses
They
are
always
saying,
speculate before
there's
they
at least 2 or 3.
There's always
and then,
speculation.
like, as we know, the vast majority of the time, you end up with like there being that one.
That's what goes
shooting.
back to the point about they always want to get their story out.
Exactly, exactly.
They speculate more before they're actually informed.
And that's the thing, like you can see how it could, like, you can drive some profits too, because you hear, like, you know, like you hear one person, or then you hear, like, let's say in a school shooting, or even the terrorist incidents that happened at ours, in our town, you hear 3 or 4, and like, you know, you hear, you know, one's in the Rideau Center, the mall by us, or, you know, some are by Parliament, and like, you know, you're just like, whoa, this is bigger than I thought, and like everyone's chiming in, everyone's talking about it, and you can see how, like, you know, these stories get like repeated, and you know, a lot of companies,
Broken telephone.
Well, a lot of companies tend to profit off that, right? You get click traffic, you get, you know, ad revenue, which is kind of fucked up. They live for that shit, man. Honestly, as cold as that sounds, they fucking like I remember hearing one story that, like, you know, like news groups and the media is like really built for 9/11. Like that's what they, as cold as that sounds, that's what they live for, because that's how many stories they can generate out of that, how much, you know, frequency they can just like kind of propel down your throat, and it's just, you know, it's cold, but that's you know, that's like how they. All right, just think about it this way, like, if you're watching, you know, you typically watch Netflix, the Discovery Channel. When one of these things happens,
100%.
You're switching to the news.
Yeah.
You're switching to the news. You want to know all about this. When anything big happens, you switch to the news. You try to understand as much as you can.
The interesting thing is that the news didn't, like, most news now is like 24 hours. It was only like in the 90s, CNN, I want to say it was during the Gulf War, they were the first like news agency to go 24-hour. Before, they would have maybe half an hour segments throughout the day. During the night, they would just play like kind of primetime TV shows. And then in the 90s, all these companies started going 24 hours, that now, even if there's no news happening, they make up something. They make up anything, and it's bad. And it's very bad.
You go on YouTube, you can just hear people, like, literally Trump will have a speech, and then you'll hear, you know, like, there's like 20 different organizations with, like, you know,
arguing about the topics.
Arguing, you know, everyone's different perspective, and it's like, you know, like, at the end of the day, like, I hate when you have so many different perspectives coming out, and it's like, I'm sure some people want to know. I don't know.
Like the news, like the news reporters, they're reading right off a script the whole time, so like they're pretty.
Yeah, but you get those panel discussions, and you just hear like everyone's bullshit, and it's like
everyone's yelling over each other.
Does your opinion really fucking matter? Like, your opinion's as good as mine or yours, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Watching that shit, like, I've watched my fair share of it too. Like, I get bored. I watch YouTube all the time, but like, I mean, you watch a lot of that, and like sometimes you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like, why is the actual, like, the news organization, like, just, it's just constant? And I think it goes back to that. It's
people love watching people arguing with each other.
Oh, I know. Like, conflict is big, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's a big seller for sure.
Oh, for sure. Like, you know, you always want to see heated debates and stuff like that. Like, that's entertaining. And that's the thing. They've almost gone into the entertainment realm rather than.
Well, like, take up, like, what happened with Trump and Hillary. That was literally what politics did happen.
I know.
Like, there's zero. It was just talk. It was just why one was better than the other.
You see the GOP, like, the primaries, and you listen to, like, how much policy they actually talked about. It was actually nice with Hillary and Bernie. Because Bernie, like, kind of made sure it was all about the politics. He even said, like, right on one of his first debates, he's just like, I don't give a shit about your emails. Like, fuck that right now. We need to talk about, you know,
these are the issues.
This is what I want to do. This is what you want to do. And Hillary, like, everyone was eating Bernie shit up. Everyone loved him. And then obviously she won, and then she just kind of incorporated Bernie shit to try to. But that's the thing. Trump wasn't arguing policy, and I mean, like, you're almost like, I felt like sometimes she was talking to a wall, and like, I mean, you're talking, like, she's saying policy, he's saying almost rhetoric, and like.
Well, yeah, and he would straight up deny
what he was like.
Yeah, like
what he was actually quoted, like.
Oh, I know, and that
Like,
it's
it's just,
frustrating,
like-
but it worked. I don't know, like it fucking it
Like
worked.
during the GOP primaries at their debates, there would be times where they'd be trying to talk about like actual policies about issues. And remember, there was that famous thing where like Jeb was talking about some kind of an issue, and then Trump just cuts in and he's like, "Low energy, you're so low energy, Jeb."
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
everyone's like, they all ran with
they
it.
were-
And I'm like, well, what is this? Is this like an elementary school like play yard?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is this allowed to fly? This isn't right. And yet somehow it flew all the way to the end.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
What?
She's fucking nothing.
What?
But this guy, this fucking
Okay, yeah.
Now
What was the
I
other
can
thing?
tell. Now I can tell.
There's one other thing I was gonna ask you guys. So what do you guys think of Europe from being in the first time in Europe?
Oh.
These guys.
The
A
first
lot
week,
different,
the first
eh?
week I showed up, I had this like real, I almost want to say like a dream or a feeling of thinking I'm gonna move here. I would love to move here, and I almost believed that maybe that was just like a honeymoon phase. Everything is new. It was all interesting. Now that I've been here for a month and a half, I like comparing it to all the places I've been in North America. I honestly do want to say I've absolutely loved it here. It's just it's amazing. Like the
Yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying.
I
it
really
for
like
sure.
Amsterdam.
I like, and like even like when we went to Italy, I'm like, oh, Italy is
Mhm.
like Italy's beautiful. Like I
It
would
is.
love
I
to
miss
visit here.
Amsterdam.
I love
Oh,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't wait to get
To come
back
back.
to
Mhm.
Amsterdam for sure.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I feel like
It's also nice for like the English, like the
yeah,
communication.
the
Communicating, like,
language barrier.
Yeah,
is
there's like
definitely
no
not that
language
big.
barrier pretty much. Like I definitely feel like there's a culture shock. Like I'm definitely at a place like if I'm
Yeah.
on the metro and everyone's speaking Dutch, like
Yeah, yeah.
I feel a little.
But
I feel a little weird,
everyone's
but,
okay
like,
to speak English, and like when you start the conversation, they go with it, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
you get by. It was the first month I've been here, I've really enjoyed myself. I mean, you it's super easy to meet people. Even the Dutch people are super
Mhm.
super accepting. And I didn't know how the whole language
Culture
barrier,
shock would be.
culture difference was gonna go, but like I feel like there's so many different cultures here that everyone you have to be like
Yeah.
we met I don't know how many people from how many different countries we met.
I was gonna say at least 40 different countries.
Okay, I don't know about that.
I
but
don't know
yeah,
about 40, but I want to say at
Like,
least
it
might-
20, like 20 or something like that.
I don't know how many I met. I haven't even maybe honestly
Mhm.
like
You gotta think about it.
Yeah,
There's a lot. There's been a
honestly.
lot. I don't know.
there's been a lot, but
Met a lot of people.
But yeah, no, I've definitely enjoyed Europe. I can see some. Yeah, it's almost like two different parts of the world. Like
Yeah.
North America, like you see North America, like we are. You really understand how Americanized Canada is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you come
Now
over
that
here.
I've been here.
Yeah.
Like you can really identify with Americans when we're over here.
Yeah.
I
For
think
sure.
that's the thing, especially like we're in Western Europe, and it always seemed to me almost like the UK, France, Germany, etc. They were considered Western Europe, and they would always be grouped into Western nations, which would include Canada and the US.
No.
But like you had just said, now that I've been here,
No.
these feel like two such
Oh, yeah.
distinct areas. I feel like they should never be grouped
No,
with the Americans and Canadians. Like,
Yeah,
do we
I
speak the
feel
same language? Do we kind of have the same like ethnic kind of groups going on in the country? Yes, but in terms of like language, culture, food, entertainment, etc., I want to say like sports even, it's so different. I have no idea why we always kind of group the two together.
Yeah, I feel like it's because like even back in Canada, we almost felt there was a like there was a separation between us and the States, right? We thought we were. I don't know. I always thought like we were culturally different than the States.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, you I don't know. You go in different parts of Canada, you get different cultures.
That's
you go
true,
to different
that's
parts
true.
in the States, you get different cultures.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely.
And it's like almost like states or countries over here. Like you get like I mean like if you think of California and Texas or California or New York and Florida or like Iowa and like or even in Canada. I've been to New Brunswick in Canada and that was a
Oh
culture
yeah,
shock.
I've been to New Brunswick
It's
too.
super chill there and
I
like,
love New Brunswick.
Oh,
I
I
went,
did too.
I went local
amazing.
lobster fishing in New Brunswick.
That's amazing.
I was like, I went with my mom and her boyfriend, and my friend, and we were like 12 years old.
I just
And
couldn't.
we went out with
Yeah.
these we went up to like a local fisher, and we like asked them if we could join them on their day, and we ended up like literally doing like
we were pulling in all the cages, like picking in all the lobsters. It was like the coolest experience ever.
Sick.
They ended up like giving like me and my friend like money at the end of the day, like paying us for like a hard day's work.
Wow.
Oh,
And they
wow.
gave us a shit ton of lobster and crab, and we took it back to our camp, and we fed the whole camp like lobster and crab.
Yeah, that's really nice too. I have I think my cousin,
It's like chill
She
vibes for sure.
she went to Newfoundland.
Oh,
And
okay.
she did something similar. She, I guess she was fishing off her dock and just kind of like talked to some neighbors, started fishing with them and like just hanging out with
Yeah,
them for
I've
the
been
day.
to-
They
I've been to
invited her back. They invited them back into
I've
the
been
house.
to Newfoundland as well. I've been everywhere out east.
Oh yeah,
No,
out east,
I
I
wanna-
feel like they almost have like a culture in themselves, and I feel like it's a laid back, super like like I was roofing with like a newfie for a whole summer, and the stories they have, they're just very very positive people, and I don't
They're
know.
characters. They're definitely
Yeah, they're
characters.
definitely characters. I give them that, and yeah, like I compare to Quebec's its own culture for sure. And then, you have Ontario, and then same thing with the States. And I guess this just relates back to Europe in terms of, we're so big, and we have certain areas of our countries have different cultures, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess it's
for
the same
sure.
here. We've been to, I don't know, we've only been to 3 countries while we've been here so far, but
Yeah.
you can tell even from Belgium to the Netherlands. I thought that was super similar, but
I did think they were similar. What
Yeah,
I've heard,
Belgium's
though,
pretty similar.
It's like even
Because they
within
both speak. Well, I guess where we were is more French, but
Yeah.
most people speak Dutch in Belgium for
Yeah.
sure.
But like even within the Netherlands, like people like saying that Utrecht, which is like 20 minutes by train from Amsterdam,
yeah.
and then Haarlem, which is like another 15. These 3 different town cities, all different dialects of Dutch. That sometimes people will, like even a local from Amsterdam who's lived in the country their entire life, whenever they go kind of out of
Yeah.
town to these other villages and towns, they don't understand the same way. They're like a bit
It's like
slower in
different
understanding.
parts in
Yeah,
Canada
yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel like
Even though
That
these
makes
cities,
sense.
these
That makes
cities are maybe like 50 kilometers, if not 30, 40 kilometers apart,
Nah,
and
man.
yet we have that kind of a difference.
They
I guess-
my buddy ran to Harlem the other day. Like a guy in my
Right,
group,
right,
he
yeah.
ran to fucking Harlem. I couldn't
how
believe
far
it.
was that?
It's 20K. So
It's a nice run.
yeah, he ran there and then trained back. I guess he's training for a marathon. But yeah, that's I think my prof was telling me this, that like the Netherlands was like one of the first a lot of the first people to inhabit like New York and stuff, and that's why there's a lot of like historical references to different places from the Netherlands and New York, like Harlem, like the name Harlem for the the borough of New York actually came from the Harlem here. And I think there's another one. There's another borough in New York. What is it? Harlem. Maybe
Manhattan,
look that up.
Queens, Bronx,
Yeah.
Staten Island, Brooklyn.
I want to say it's Bronx, but I don't know if there's a Bronx here. But I thought that was a pretty interesting fact, because I don't know if you've seen some movies that because a lot of people in Europe came and from Europe to inhabit here, and they.
Well, I think the other story is like Wall Street now is spelled.
Wall Street.
I think
That's what
it
it
was.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
it
you
is
go.
Wall Street.
I'm pretty sure you're the one who told me that.
Yeah. It's Wall Street because it's
Mhm.
WAAL here, and it's WALL obviously back home. But yeah, so that's Wall Street. That's what it was. And there's a couple other,
Mhm.
but yeah, they have their own impact back there, which I thought was pretty interesting.
It's cool.
It's neat.
No, even though they're such a small country, they definitely used to have such a big, like,
Mhm.
like imperial kind of like global
Well-
reach. Like they had South Africa until I want to say
Mhm.
the early 1900s, and all the cities there, like their current names are Dutch names.
Yeah.
And like there's like in South Africa, right? You have like blacks and whites. And for the most part, the whites are descendants of like I think it's called like Afrikaners, which were like Dutch people, and like their language right now is called Afrikaner,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically it's so similar to Dutch that the Dutch people and Afrikaner people can, for the most part, understand each other, which
Yeah,
I
like,
find kind of cool.
My roommate's friend
Mhm.
is actually like a descendant from South Africa that was born and raised in Amsterdam, and like she speaks fluent Dutch. Like she says but she's like not. She's short, so it's weird. She's everyone here is super tall,
No, honestly,
there's
I-
some tall motherfuckers.
I've noticed
here.
but you can
back
tell
home-
she's from South Africa for
like
sure.
back home, the mirrors in the bathroom, my face is centered. Here, bathroom mirrors whenever we go out, restaurants, even in the building,
Yeah.
I'm on the lower kind of third or lower quarter
Yeah.
of the mirror. So like they definitely even factor in their kind of average height into their buildings here. So it's,
Yeah,
it's
I'm usually
interesting to know.
I'm usually on the taller side back home. I'm not here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no.
true.
I'm not here. Holy shit.
No, we looked it up the
Yeah,
other
do you
day.
remember the guy that we were when we went to that like live bar?
Oh my god, yeah, he was.
We look over and just like guys like 7 foot fucking 14.
Yeah, no, he was probably at least like
He's
no
gotta be
bullshit, like
7 foot.
6'11".
Oh yeah,
Like
I was
6'11",
gonna
7
say
foot.
6'10", 7. I was
Yeah, I was gonna say
6'10".
between 6'10" and 7'1".
We just look over and
100%.
Wow.
chilling there.
We actually the other day we looked this up, like not even joke. The average female height is 182 centimeters, which is 6 foot. Yeah. 6 foot is the average female height in the Netherlands.
Jesus. I've seen some tall girls.
And it was
And that's weird
6'3",
for me. I'm always used to short
and
girls. here.
6'3" is the average height of a man in the Netherlands.
Fuck's
Wow.
sake. 6'3".
That's ridiculous. I'm short as fuck.
Yeah, I'm like 5'8", 5'9", so like.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
see
like
like
5'7" and like a quarter.
a lot of
If I wear my Timberlands, I'm like 5'8".
like a lot of girls back home are 5'5" and under. You know,
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
usually a little bit tall. I like the average height of a girl is like I want to say 5'5" or 5'6".
Yeah, I've never
I'm
been with
tall-
a girl even remotely close to like my height. You know, like they're always like little.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm like. Yeah, like the girls here, like they're intimidating for me at
I
least.
know they're intimidating for me. Fuck.
Yeah, they're 6 foot and they're not even wearing heels. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're taller than me.
That's not.
Yeah, I
That's
can't-
not,
I
that's
don't
not natural. It is like what it is the tallest country in the world. I'm pretty sure.
It definitely is.
Fuck, that would
I'm-
make
I'm
sense.
pr-
If
I'm
the
like-
average
I'm pretty-
height of a
no, like,
girl is
I'm-
6 foot. I would.
I'm-
No,
imagine
it definitely
so.
is.
I'm pretty
100%.
sure. Yeah.
It definitely.
I want
would.
to say I read that before I showed up here.
I
too.
wouldn't argue
No,
on
no.
that.
So another question that I asked the people in our group was like, if you could go in any place in time, like the future or the past,
Oh shit.
where would you go, and
Fuck, man.
what you could bring something back, or you could bring something there. What would you bring?
Bring something there. I would definitely bring something there.
No, when you say bring something.
Would you go? Okay, first question. Like, would you go to the past or the future?
Future.
You go future, right?
Future.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the future.
That was the conversation before. We were like, it's risky going in the future because you don't know what the future
Can you come
holds.
back? Do you get to come back or no?
You do
Are
get
you
to
visiting?
come back,
Are you
but
visiting?
debate like
If you
the
die, you
question.
die.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you die in the future, you die.
I see. Okay, so then
Same with the past.
I was actually thinking of that too. So by extension, do I have to pick a fixed year? Like say the year
you don't know.
3000.
Yeah,
do I
you're
just get
picking-
dropped in
Yes.
whatever the situation is,
Yeah.
or can I say something like the last year of human
No.
civilization?
No,
It has to be
you
a
had
year.
just a year.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
No, even if you said that, like, why would you want that?
yeah, no, yeah, that's.
I feel like that'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
I don't
But
know.
then you die and then you're dead.
True.
No, I would definitely go in the past.
To where?
I'm definitely.
yeah, what would
I
you?
don't know, man. Gotta think about this. Like in the past, like
There's a
I
lot
would
of cool
definitely
things that
go-
you could have
Yeah,
saw. in the
no,
past.
I know.
Honestly, do you think we
history
like,
blows me away. I love history. That's why I'd be down.
I do think we'll still be okay by the year 2200. I think that's where I would.
2,200.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
gonna
like
be that's
180
gonna be
years.
borderline. I feel.
I
I think there's gonna be some, like it's not gonna be the same way of life.
No,
that we
no,
have
no,
now.
I think the human race will get wiped out.
within the next
I
200
think-
years.
I honestly believe that the human race has been wiped out before. And
How'd they come back?
Wait, really?
well, I was listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and like billions of years. Okay, well, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
Okay.
So millions of years ago, like before dinosaurs, like we would have like impact.
People aren't 4.5 billion.
No, not people, but like
There were,
this is
yeah.
there's living things. I'm not talking about people. This is just living things on the Earth.
Okay.
They were from the comet or meteor impacts. There'd be huge explosions that would make the Earth. It was inhabitable at some point in time,
Oh, for sure.
and
That's the dinosaur theory.
and then from these meteors that crashed into the planet, he was saying that it was like life forms would be
Mm-hmm.
stuck on these meteors and would get knocked out into the the rotational pull of not the Earth but of the sun. So these would eventually come back around, like millions of years. Like
That's like the current, I want to say, leading theory of how life started on Earth is that it was actually brought to Earth
Yeah,
as like bacteria and other like
Exactly.
small like life
I
forms
can argue
on a
that.
meteor like comet that when it impacted the Earth, kind of like you said, dispersed.
They
Yeah,
disperse,
yeah,
and
yeah.
as these
basically
and these
yeah.
living things get like I can't get in as detail as he did, but like they ended up like pretty much getting burnt in, and they were able to live on these meteors. Like they able to like bring the substance from the Earth to actually live on. Okay. And as these come back around, millions of these meteors, like the meteors that broke off, they come back and they crash back onto the Earth as the Earth came back to like being like all of water again. So that's pretty much as it becomes like lava, it freezes and then becomes water. And then as the land comes back, like the meteors come back, and that's how the living things are brought back to the Earth. That is the theory, at least.
Okay.
That's what he's explaining. So I thought that was like fairly interesting, like how like that's. I think I can believe that.
Okay.
Through like how like the Earth can reset itself at some point in time. History? Where I would go in history? I would honestly say I would want to go to the future, because like
you go to the future.
It's either I would go to the future or I would go like bring some like technology to the past and just like like imagine like bringing a cell phone, like even like 200 200 years ago, bring a cell phone, like some that wouldn't
use anything, but you couldn't properly use it.
No, but even just showing them like this, like not even
like a mobile screen or
like,
just like a screen that has like pictures.
Like that, they would think that was like
magic.
Magic. Like
the thing is, I would bring information back, and like I would try to like.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would try to like before the printing press. You know.
What if by doing that you then prevented your own birth because you sped up so fast?
I died. I died. And
no, but the thing is, when you go to the past, you're still alive at that. Like maybe you weren't born, but you're still.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole fucking thing about fucking
time travel.
Like it's
we're
not
getting
a real
into
thing.
the time
Yeah,
travel.
we're not gonna get.
But like I mean, like if I could bring information, like
because scientifically it's fucking bullshit. It has not been proven.
I agree. I mean, like,
but like
hypothetically,
hypothetically.
And like theoretically, we could travel in time, but only in the future.
No, that's not true though.
Not by
because like if someone invented time travel, you would know about it already. You know what I mean? Because they would have already come back to the past eventually. You know what I mean?
What if they died?
Wait, what? No, that's what I'm saying. We can only go forward, and that supports that.
But why could we only go... If we invited time travel, why would we only go forward?
Because of the way physics work.
Yeah, I don't think you can go to the past. I feel like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That seems too weird.
Yeah, there would be no way. Just the way space-time works, it would be like physically
because it bends time, right? Like the whole point of time travel is like you're supposed to bend time.
Yeah, you go into a wormhole.
Yeah.
Well, like potentially the thing is though, they say like if you do go into a wormhole, you could potentially go. You can go like
back in time?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Where you could go back through like.
I thought it bends time, but I didn't know you could bend it back.
Yeah, because what it's doing is like it takes space-time, folds it.
Yeah.
So then that way, even if things are like super far apart, now they're together and you go through it, and then it gets.
I feel like time travel, like if it ever gets invented or understood, like you would use it as travel. You wouldn't use it as you wouldn't use it
as more like teleportation. I would say
That's what I feel like you'd use it as, because like let's say there's two planets apart. If you were to somehow bend those 2 points in time together and make it one, and then go through, it would just make it easier for time travel.
For transportation.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Like I would love to see that. I
thought you were talking about like would you go to the 80s and go to Woodstock? Like I thought that was the question.
Yeah. That like potentially you could go back to like a football game that someone wins and put a bunch of money on it and win it. Like
that's what I was thinking. Like I would bring my iPhone. I would download a bunch of fucking information from history. I would go back there. I'd probably only go back 200 years because that's the whole start of the industrial revolution and scientific revolution. And I would almost try to like kickstart this, kickstart the
200 years would be long. It'd be not that long.
200 years isn't that long, I know.
No, I mean saying 200 years would be before the industrial revolution and shit, for sure.
Before?
Would it not?
No.
Would it not be in the 1900s, the industrial revolution?
I think it started in the early 1800s, mid 1800s. I want to say, somewhere there.
Like I think the start of it was like when people started bringing over like machines. It was like when it started in North America when someone brought this like this sewing machine over from
China?
the UK. No, the UK, and he's like renowned. Like he's apparently like he was like the biggest trader of Britain at the time. I forget his name, but like that was the start because people.
Okay, yeah,
Mid 1800s.
Yeah. So
18th century.
Yeah. So like no, it's not that long ago, because before that, like it was just, I guess, like imperialism. Everyone wanted to keep everything to themselves, and then once that sewing machine got to the States, they're like, you know what, fuck that. I'm not gonna just like buy all my clothes from Britain and get it shipped over here just because they're the only people that know how to do it. We're gonna mass produce it here. And as soon as they mass produced one thing, they started like, hey, why don't we just start mass producing a lot of things? And that's where it branched over to agricultural, and they had these things called there's a rock song about it. Jethro Tull.
That's the singer?
That's Jethro. Oh, it's the singer's song. Anyways, it's this agricultural thing that just essentially like was able to plant seeds at like at a faster rate, and I think that just like kind of sparked the idea that if
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull. There's all right.
Locomotive Breath.
Okay, there's
This sounds like something.
Jethro Tull band. Yeah, see, there's the band, and then there's Jethro Tull agriculturalist. Yeah, he was the guy. So he's a pioneer, a horse drawn. What do you fuck? Hoeing by hand, Tull's farm. So yeah, so he's part of the British agricultural revolution, and he perfected the horse-drawn seed drill. So essentially, it was this thing that it was almost like the horse was the tractor, and then behind the tractor, it was like this thing that would like scoop and plant at the same time with this wheel. Yeah. And so then they just like pull a horse around like a field and then plant a bunch of shit. So it was one way to like mass produce agricultural. And yeah, there's obviously like an 80s or 70s or 80s band that.
Yeah, that's named it after him. Named it after this guy.
Yeah, but yeah, I learned that in history class. But yeah, so yeah, this like the
interesting.
It's because there was a scientific revolution. I did a report on that, and then there's the Industrial Revolution. The scientific revolution was
that the Enlightenment age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was way back, and then that was I want to say that was like around the time of the
French Revolution.
I want to say before that. It was like
started
the Gutenberg printing press.
Was that the early?
That was the first time that you could.
Like
yeah, I want to say 1700s.
What was it?
Gutenberg. Type in Gutenberg.
The printing press.
Yeah, that I did a whole report on Gutenberg. That was the biggest thing in the world, because before that it would take like 2 to 3 years to write a book, and then like to rewrite that book it would take like another year and a half, right? Like people just like have to sit down and rewrite pages, and that's
15th century.
15th, yeah.
So 1440.
The printing. Yeah,
that's when the print. Gutenberg's the first one.
Gutenberg was the first one.
Okay, so yeah, it'd be 1440.
So he essentially his thing was he was like the first mass dissemination of information. So he could right now like a Gutenberg Bible is like over $20 million. There's one in New York, and these are like the first thing that he started making mass producing was the Bible, and that was like he's like well renowned in the in the Catholic culture because he printed a bunch of Bibles, and then that's like why he's attributed to like how much Catholic people there are in Europe, because he was in, I want to say, part of Germany, Germanic tribes called like Prussia.
Gutenberg definitely sounds German,
yeah.
He's
but yeah,
German blacksmith.
Yeah, so he's a blacksmith, and what he did,
Goldsmith, printer, publisher.
So what the Gutenberg press is actually we saw one. We didn't see a Gutenberg press, but me and you actually, or you and I saw one. Do you remember when we went to we were walking around Italy and we saw like the huge machine?
Oh
thing?
Yeah.
That was a printing press.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's
funky
insane.
Looking.
So
was that Naples or Rome?
Yeah, we weren't with us. That it was
Monday or whatever it was.
You guys went to Mafia.
We were walking around.
But yeah, we saw a printing press, and essentially what it is like they would have like these steel letters, like little letters, and you'd have to write, like you'd have a bunch of letters.
You'd only have to do it once.
Yeah, you'd have so what you do is you print a bunch of pages at a time, and you'd have all these like steel letters, because he was a blacksmith. He he made these like characters, and you write a page, or like whatever the page was, you'd write,
and then dunk it in the dye.
You roll dye over the all these like little metal characters, and you put a page down, press it
down,
and you press like let's say 20 pages at a time on that one thing, because then you'd have to, or even more than that. Like it would make, I don't know, if I was doing it, I would print more than that. Anyways, you do that 20 times, and it would take you, it would still take you a long time, but then at the end you'd have like 100 books instead of one.
Yeah.
And so that's how they were able to.
This is the first thing to start mass producing books, pretty much.
Exactly, and that's like he's like the father of like so much, like he's like essentially why we are where we are now, because like before that, like only the certain few would have
Jonas
books and
Gutenberg.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's a big player. But yeah, if you could go back in history and even give someone like earlier than that a printing press, or if you could just like get bring back all the ideas, and
I would want to talk to I would want to go back and like
You'd
talk
wanna
to
talk
like
to
Einstein or something.
Really? I feel like we
Like
would
have a-
understand what he's saying. Though.
That's the thing, yeah.
Maybe if you read up on him like a shit ton and then went back, understood. What
Like Einstein or
would
like,
what would you though, like if you were to meet Einstein, would you tell him his theories like before it? Would you be like, yo, this is what you're gonna create in the next 20 years?
Well, this is what I would say. This is what we've created from your theories. Pretty much.
And it's like, don't waste your time with this bullshit. Let's see what you can come up with now.
that would be
I
good.
would be down for that.
Test his theory to
Yeah,
go
see
beyond.
how much farther. Because like, let's say that's his life work. What if we like gave him his life work right at the start and see like?
Well, like when he died, he was like pretty
much.
much like told that he was wrong. It wasn't until like later that
No,
they actually
no,
proved
no.
his theories. Like I don't know what way later.
But he
like,
always kept going. Like a lot of his theories
Oh, yeah.
were thought to be wrong. But
yeah, I heard like what was it? He came up with is he the string theory or
No,
No,
I think
who's
that
string
came after.
theory?
That's
That's
way
a
after.
physicist.
That's very no,
he's relativity.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
theory of
yeah.
relativity.
Yeah.
That was
Who
fun.
did string theory? I'm curious about that.
I was gonna say that might have been Hawking. I could be wrong.
String theory. I looked that up the other day. That's fucking something else.
String theory is fucking mind blowing.
I
I
had
read about that once. I Control W'd it. Never looked at it again.
I had I think the Grass was trying to explain it on this podcast, and so he's like, all right, so you have these 2 points, and these points are in 0 dimensions, and then you connect 2 points, that's 1 dimension.
Miku
You connect
Kaku?
4,
Michu
to make a
Kaku.
square, that's 2 dimensions. Then you make a cube and
That's
connect
3, yeah.
6 of those 4 sides. That's 3 dimension. And then he was trying to explain the 4th dimension, and that's where it got
Yeah,
loopy,
man.
because like he was just like, all right, so now think of like it's essentially 9 cubes that it's. Yeah, like you can't see it or anything, but it's like it's 9. Like let's say it would be 9 cubes around that cube, and then it just. Honestly, I don't know about enough about it to try to
it's
explain
hard. It's also like too even hard to like even when you do know how to explain it.
Yeah, I
even to wrap your head about what the person is trying to say, you're just like, brain hurts.
Honestly. No, it's because if we're 3-dimensional beings, so understanding anything higher than that, we just can't, because we've never experienced it. So there's no possible way our brains
you can't
can
write it
fully
down.
understand it. No.
It gets called a hypercube. If you look up a hypercube, that's what a 4-dimensional cube is. And it's all it looks like is like a cube like this, but like with like it has like almost like diagonal lines coming from each side, and then
Okay.
it goes around.
It's exactly what that is.
Yeah, see
That's a hype.
that's a hypercube.
Okay.
I don't get why.
So they're
it's
saying
like that.
3-dimensional objects are bounded by 2-dimensional surfaces.
Yeah.
A cube that is bounded by 6 square faces by applying the fuck, I don't even want. Now we're getting
Honestly.
4-dimensional. Are bounded by 3-dimensional volume. So the 4-dimensional cube is bounded by 3-dimensional instead, which is fucking confusing as fuck when you try to think about it. I'm not gonna try to explain that right now. I'm already hurting my brain thinking about it. It's fucking mind blowing. Or like, it'd be pretty cool if like Interstellar was actually like, if we're able to actually get into Interstellar. That'd be cool if in our lifetime we're able to actually reach Interstellar.
Well,
Like send someone into Interstellar.
it's like what they're doing now. Like, what do you mean, like in through a wormhole or into the like a
Oh, okay. I don't know the exact definition of interstellar, but it's like a.
Like
I
the
guess it
movie?
would kind of be like a wormhole.
Like the movie Interstellar.
No, I'm talking like it's literally like.
Oh, you mean like going
It's
to
like
another
it's
star?
pretty much like.
Isn't interstellar travel just like planet to
Mhm.
planet?
Yeah, like you're going through like a wormhole to like pretty much another galaxy. Like you can go through.
But it doesn't have to be through a wormhole.
But like, I don't know if
But
we're
like
able
I
to do
think
that.
that's like.
Like what they're coming out with now is this new like propulsion
I don't think that's
system
what interstellar.
for spaceships that will theoretically allow us to get like up to almost the speed of light, which if we did that would almost in a way facilitate. It's like a different form of like time travel than like what we usually think about, because what would happen is the people on the spacecraft would age significantly slower than the people back on Earth, and it's kind of like what happens in Interstellar when the guy stays behind on their craft while everyone else goes down to the ocean planet, and then they fuck up one time and they get pushed back an hour later than they were planning, and when they come back the guy is like 20 or 30 years
Yeah.
older or whatever, and like with this new technology we would almost be able to see something like that
It's
happen.
basically
But
saying
like this isn't like the
you're basically
introductory
traveling
steps.
at the speed of light.
Mhm.
Basically, when you're traveling at interstellar.
I don't know if
Yeah.
we'll see it in our lifetime, but I think in
No,
the
not
lifetime
not in
after
our
us.
lifetime. I
Or
don't
like
think-
the
I don't think in
generation
our
after us, I think we will have achieved
Well, when do you think we'll live
not
to?
speed of light travel, but 90% the speed of light travel.
Let's say we
Honestly, but like, who knows who? Like,
Honestly, yeah.
with the rate that technology is rising,
That's
like
true.
we
I
could
think we will.
could figure out like people of like if as long as like we get more people like Elon Musk coming up,
Yeah, man.
like fucking crazy.
We need more Elon Musks in different sectors.
Well, like you gotta think of it. There's gotta be a lot of smart fucking like
He's engineering.
people in our generation that are like testing theories that we just don't know about. Like you know what I mean? The private sector is huge. That no
We
one
have to have people
absolutely
fund
has any idea. Well, like private sector basically you're funding yourself.
That's what I mean. You have. That's why I'm saying that you have to
Yeah,
have
we need-
billionaires
yeah.
that are willing to lose money.
That's true.
Because like he has a lot of money. He doesn't lose a lot, but he's willing to do it. He doesn't care about different projects. Like I mean, he'll lose money if it makes sense to him. If it progresses any kind of humanity.
He is a different breed.
He is,
Definitely.
bro.
We
He
need
is.
more of that breed for sure.
He went to school in Canada.
Really? I didn't
What
know.
school did he go to? Do you know?
Queens.
Queens?
Yeah. He went to he's South African, and then he came to Canada. Went to Queens, and then he has dual citizenship now with the States. Went to Stanford, dropped out of Stanford because he's I'm pretty sure he just wasn't learning. Like he was like, yeah, I'm not learning anything. Like if I wanted to make money, I could do it way quicker than this. Invented PayPal with some other dude, and then sold that, made $1 billion, started Tesla, started Solar City with another person, then started SpaceX, and now he's on the board of like, if you look him up, like his credentials are actually disgusting. Like it's actually mind blowing that there's a human like this in the world. Yeah, he's the CEO, CTO of SpaceX, co-founder, CEO, product architect of Tesla, co-founder, chairman of Solar City, co-chairman of OpenAI, co-founder Zip2, which that's PayPal, worth $14 billion fucking dollars.
That should be
Yeah.
like that's.
Yeah, he went to alumni Queens. Oh, he went to UPenn, not Stanford. But yeah, he's just an engineer. He's just a super smart engineer that understands the business behind it. And I mean, yeah, I just
Definitely a good role model for
Mhm.
sure.
he comes out with some crazy quotes though, man. Like I think one of his last quotes, he was saying that like we gotta learn to live with robots or else we're gonna get replaced.
Yeah,
by them.
that's what. That was one of the last thing I think we should talk about is like, what do you think about AI? Like, do you think?
my God, yeah, it's mind blowing, man. Like I
Do you think they can create a robot that can
they will if they
have human emotion?
So the singularity,
Like to a
which
human
would be the
emotion.
singularity.
Yeah, the singularity of actually creating.
I don't know about
I don't think
emotion.
we'll be able to do that, because to do that means
But-
we would have to solve the human brain first, which we haven't
Yeah,
been able
yeah,
to do.
honestly.
And like we honestly may never be able to do it because there's just so many connections between all the different neurons, and like we still don't know what makes like when you get angry that like this hormone's being released, when you're happy your like dopamine system is being activated, but like that system is involved with so many different other things that to put that into a binary like 0 and 1 system, like we're not binary. Like
No.
we have, so to try to put that into zeros and ones is just something that I don't think we'll be able to fully ever do. Like,
Maybe
can we
if-
come close?
Maybe eventually. Maybe not in our
Oh,
lifetime.
and like maybe
It's hard to say.
that's a thing. Yeah.
You don't know until it happens. The future is all speculation for sure.
Because like a computer thinks in like logic and 0 and 1. People were logical, but like we have so many other factors.
We
So,
go
but
like
AI
you
is
gotta
different.
think about it, like
AI is different than that. Like,
But are we
They
talking
don't
about
have-
AI? Or are we trying to like make a robot that's basically a human?
yeah, they have like human intuition.
Oh,
Which is-
okay.
yeah,
Okay,
I
in
think
that
that
Which
case,
is-
will happen. When you said emotions, I don't know about emotions, but it's human intuition. I feel like
like
we've
human
already done that.
intelligence, yes.
Well, yeah, they're
Well,
fucking
like-
already smart.
Like who? What is that? There's that robot that IBM came out with. Watson.
Well, like, Okay,
Like,
they
which
argue that
is,
like okay, like the smartest is the combination of a human and a robot together. Like no human can work better than a robot, and no robot.
I feel like,
like
a
the
robot
best-
can work better than a human.
Yes, but like
it's
they say
special.
the
thing
best
is that
the best
computers-
combination is the two working
Because
together.
for now, we've only been able to make computers that are like specialized and like they're really good at manufacturing
Yeah.
assembly lines. They're really good at
Yeah,
chess.
they're
but, like,
one-dimensional.
they
Yeah.
can't do anything in
Yeah.
the same way that we can. Like we're a lot more diverse and varied than a robot.
They say like the combination of the two is like
Mhm.
would be the most beneficial.
Well, there's a lot of different forms of AI. Like you have like I feel like we're thinking about one specific type.
Yeah.
Like we're just thinking algorithms, you know. Like AI like is well, I think there's 5 different types of AI. What are they? Oh, there's probably way more. I only learned about 5. But like you have ones that where are they? Goals. Like reasoning, problem solving, knowledge representation, planning, learning. Like tools. Partnerships, ethics.
I don't know. It'd be cool to see with how we take AI and
Yeah, man.
See how
I
it-
feel like we gotta proactively think about that because like man, they're
It's
kinda-
happening.
It's happening
Mhm.
and it's happening fast. Like there's so many applications that they're just way better than us at. That like he's right. Like I mean, like we don't need a lot of human jobs if we can replace them with robots, and these robots.
But the only
are
thing
getting
is,
smarter
what
and smarter.
are we gonna do with those people that work those jobs?
Fuck, man. That's what he's saying. We gotta learn to work with them, kind of thing. Because like, all right, we have self-driving cars. There's Uber and taxi drivers gone. Like you like self-driving planes. You have pilots gone. You know, like I mean, we don't have them yet, but like I mean, that's
Yeah.
you know, that's not like a crazy thing to think about.
No.
You know, you have
So like yeah, that's like okay.
manufacturing. That's
Basically,
gone.
all that says to me is like the people that are creating these things, or like the companies that are owning these things, are gonna be raking in the money.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
before-
gonna go to the
before,
top.
like,
But
most people-
how are we distributing this money for the people that are losing? Like,
We're gonna
it's
have to
gonna be
go-
like our poverty
If you
rate's
think
gonna
about
go
before
up.
the-
We're gonna have to go to communes.
Everyone were farmers, and now we don't have that many farmers. And maybe at one
If
point,
AI takes up over every job, then yeah, I
We'd
actually
have to
agree.
go to communes.
I would say yes, because then. But the only thing is the same thing about like I guess if we get AI that could be better than a surgeon, like highly qualified surgeon, like
See,
that's
I don't know.
that's the only
one of
thing.
the last jobs I feel like is gonna.
Mhm.
yeah, like that's what
Actually,
I'm
they
saying.
already have.
But that's what I'm
these-
saying. The thing, if we implement
but-
communists, like you can't just like you can't just be like, okay, but the doctors get paid more. You know what I mean? This communist country, everyone gets the same
Maybe
shit.
everyone will do nothing and we just get paid. Like I mean, maybe.
Or do you
a
think,
robot doesn't
or like,
need-
what about
doesn't need money?
You've seen the movie Surrogates?
Yeah.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like with
Oh, that movie was fucked.
yeah, like with what's his name? Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, and like basically you have your own, Robot.
It's
You
a
live
clone.
through
You have
your-
your own clone. Yeah.
but like you live through it at home, like you're at home.
Yeah,
in
and
like,
everyone is like chilling in like a kind of like pod that
Oh,
every morning they like
And you-
hook up into. It's super weird. Like it's a
That's
very
weird,
trippy
man.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
Technology is gonna take over, man. It's gonna
it'd be
it's
interesting
gonna be weird.
which way it goes, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. And it's gonna be hard to understand, like yeah, because like you could just feel like once all the money goes to like it's already, 1% has a lot more than the 99%, but like I feel like it's just gonna when if you're right, the people that own all these patents on technology and stuff like that, like they're just gonna make millions and millions of dollars or billions, let's say. Like they're literally like they're gonna employ like the main assets to the world. So it's like you can see that like even if it gets more concentrated, like
We have to figure out how to distribute.
corruption's gonna be
Yeah.
huge.
Mhm.
Corruption's gonna be huge, and like we're gonna have to look out for. Like, I don't know. Like,
All right, we're gonna have to change our
there's
system.
There's some crazy sci-fi
gonna have-
movies I can base a plot off of just by like thinking about that. That's crazy.
I don't know if it does happen. Like I think we have to change our system. Like
Oh yeah.
completely. Like it's
And
not
you
gonna
know,
work.
communism,
It's not gonna be
communism's perfect on paper, but like it's never worked.
Well, yeah, it gives you no motivation to work. Communism.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Hopefully it gets to the point where we don't have to work. But if let's say we don't have to work,
How do we
like
decide?
there's always a hierarchy in the world.
Yeah.
Whether it be a monarchy, whether it be a capitalist monarchy, there's always people at the top and people at the bottom. And like how do you? It would be in a utopian society. You'd say everyone's equal. And
See,
you
I
just
almost
do
want
what
to say
you
that we
wanna
would
do.
never get to a point where technology and AI would completely take us over, because if they did, I can almost see in a way we could then consider them
Enemies.
not enemies, but a different, almost like they wouldn't be a
Different-
species
yeah,
because
no.
they're like technology, but because they're doing our work, it'd be like they're their own entity, and then they would in a way take over us. Not necessarily in a Terminator way, like the Terminator series, but just like because if you had like humans aren't meant to just sit around.
Well,
all
they could
day
basically.
and,
They're
like-
basically could be the new. Like they're the highest on the food chain. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Yeah.
Once they pass us
Mhm.
and they can do everything that we can
But like,
do
how do we
100 times
simulate
better.
ourselves? How do we simulate ourselves? Like, day to day?
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, we wouldn't have that source because like work and like school, like as boring as they are, I kind of like see their purpose because they do add kind of like structure to the human like mind. Whereas if you take that out, like, what are you gonna do with your free time, right? Like, you can't just eat and sleep all day. And like, if people aren't making like that, I feel like some industries will forever exist, like movies, TV, art, because if we had technology
Well, what if?
making
But the thing of
those-
virtual reality, though, when that comes in, like, you won't go to the movies. You're just gonna close your eyes and click. There's
and
a
then do
virtual.
what? Watch a movie.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like
Mhm.
the actual facilities, like a movie theater and stuff.
Oh, right,
become-
right.
They're already right now becoming
Yeah, they're hurting.
less
Yeah,
relevant
yeah.
in their society for sure. But I guess what you mean, like entertainment is still gonna be a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, entertainment's always gonna be a thing. I feel.
Okay, well, that was a good conversation, guys. But
I agree.
I kind of want to go home now. So,
Honestly.
all right, well, I'm solid.
Sign